To the next lesson, or as I like to call it, the blender lesson for Educator.com, because we are mixing patterns together. So let's go over all the patterns of organization that we've gone over so far. Remember, these can apply to an entire essay or a single paragraph. We have listing, classification, chronological or time order, compare contrast, process, and cause and effect. Now, which pattern of organization should you use for your essay? Well, it's kind of the wrong question, because for really good essays, you're probably not just going to use the same pattern for the entire essay. You are most likely going to use more than one, but the difficulty is knowing when and which pattern to use for a particular paragraph. So I'm going to reiterate. Most of the time for your body paragraphs 1, 2, and 3, they will not all have the same pattern of organization. You're probably going to be using a mixture of a few, maybe at least 2. So, to figure out which ones we should use, let's go back to the interrogative questions way at the beginning of this series. Who, what, why, where, when, and how. It turns out that certain patterns of organization address each one of these kinds of questions really, really well. And so I'm going to show you which ones. First off, who. We'll use classification and more specifically definition. So definition is kind of just part of classification. As you remember from the classification essay, be sure to use definition. What? Well, I can think about what causes and what affects, but also classification. Why? Well, cause and effect is always an answer to a why question. How do you remember that? Well, think about this. Why does something happen? Because of something else. Why is this effect here? Because of something else. Why is answered by because. Cause is cause and effect. Where? I don't really feel that anything specifically answers a where question, but here's the thing. You can pretty much use anything in a where. When? Well, that's pretty easy, right? Chronological time order, that's when you're going to be using a when question. And how, finally, is always process and cause and effect. Now, here's a great thing about this. Sometimes you're not sure what pattern of organization to use for a specific part of your essay or even your entire essay. Just use listing. Listing will cover everything. So maybe, since I don't know what where is, I could ask, what other countries have you been to? Oh, I've been to Korea, I've been to Mexico, and I've been to Germany. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I bet I can use listing to describe those. Or maybe I'll put some chronological in there too to describe when I went to those countries or when you visited those countries. But you can see how easy listing is.